For 8 years of marriage between her son Victor and her daughter-in-law Lena, Helena Ward had always been told never to visit their farmhouse. Victor insisted it was too far, too unsafe, too stressful for a woman her age. Helena accepted it because she trusted her son. But curiosity had grown like a restless shadow inside her. One afternoon, after Victor left for a work trip, Helena whispered to herself, "Today I will know the truth." She got into her old car with trembling hands, started the engine, and headed toward the countryside, unsure of what she would find. The 4-hour drive felt endless. Helena gripped the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. Her heart pounded as the scenery changed from busy streets to long stretches of quiet farmlands. "What are you hiding from me, Victor?" she muttered. When she finally reached the secluded property, she parked far away so no one would notice her car. She walked slowly around the house, her breath shaky. Then she saw the kitchen door slightly open. "Lena," she whispered as she pushed it gently. But the moment the door creaked, Helena froze, unable to breathe. What she saw behind that kitchen door shattered every belief she had held about her family. But to understand why Helena collapsed into silent shock, she needed to remember the years that led her here. The strange changes, the excuses, the lies. She remembered the early days of Victor and Lena's marriage. Everything had seemed perfect. Lena visited often, always with a gentle smile and a basket of fresh produce. Helena adored her. "You're the daughter I never had," Helena used to tell her, and Lena would blush and reply softly, "And you're the mother I wished for." But 5 years ago something shifted. Lena's visits grew rare, then stopped altogether. Helena worried and asked Victor repeatedly, "Why hasn't Lena come to see me?" Victor always had an answer ready. "She's too busy with the farm," he would say. "The land requires constant work. She sends her love." His tone was calm, reassuring, too reassuring. Helena wanted to believe him. "He's my son," she told herself. "He would never lie to me." And so she swallowed her doubts, pushing away the unsettling feeling growing in her heart. Whenever Helena mentioned visiting the farmhouse, Victor changed completely. His expression hardened, his voice sharpened. "Mom, that road is dangerous," he warned. "You're not young anymore. A long trip could harm you." His concern sounded so genuine that Helena convinced herself he meant well. But looking back, she now realized how unnatural his reactions were. Why was he so afraid of me going there, she wondered. It was a question she ignored for years, choosing peace over conflict, love over suspicion. 3 years ago, Helena finally reached her breaking point. She missed Lena terribly and decided to call her directly. But Lena's old number was disconnected. "She probably changed it," Victor explained smoothly. "Too many spam calls." He handed Helena a new number. She dialed it day after day, no answer. "Bad network," Victor shrugged. "That farm barely gets a signal." Helena accepted the explanation again. But the silence from Lena felt wrong, like a door slammed shut without reason. A small voice within her whispered, "Something is happening." 2 weeks ago, that whisper became a scream. Helena was buying vegetables at the downtown market when an older woman approached her. "Excuse me," the stranger said softly. "Are you Victor Ward's mother?" Helena nodded, puzzled. The woman's expression changed instantly, pity mixed with alarm. "My name is Marjorie Cole," she said. "I live near your daughter-in-law. There's something you need to know." Helena's heart tightened as Marjorie continued, her voice trembling. "I've seen Lena many times in town. Always alone. Always looking frightened." Helena's groceries nearly slipped from her hands. Marjorie leaned closer. "Your son told you the house was deteriorating." "It's not. It's beautiful, big, modern, freshly painted." Helena blinked. "That can't be," she whispered. But Marjorie wasn't finished. "And there's more," she said. "Your son, he comes to the farm with another woman." Helena felt the world tilt. "Another woman?" she asked, barely audible. Marjorie nodded sadly. "A young woman. Elegant. They act close. Meanwhile, Lena stays hidden at the back of the property as if she's not allowed to be seen. Helena stood frozen, trembling. "Are you absolutely sure?" Helena whispered. Marjorie's eyes softened. "I wish I weren't. But yes." She placed a gentle hand on Helena's arm. "If you want the truth, go to the farm alone. Don't tell your son. He must never know you're coming." Marjorie slipped a small paper into Helena's hand with the exact address. Then she disappeared into the crowd, leaving Helena shaking in the middle of the bustling market. That night, Helena couldn't sleep. Marjorie's words replayed endlessly, weaving dread through her thoughts. Helena began remembering every strange moment she had ignored. "Why did Victor always avoid talking about Lena?" she whispered in the dark. "Why did his stories contradict each other? One day he said the farmhouse was falling apart. Another day he said he spent money on renovations. The pieces didn't match. Not even close." Helena felt foolish for trusting so blindly. She sat at her kitchen table, staring at the address Marjorie had given her, knowing deep down that she needed to face the truth, no matter how painful it would be. When Victor visited that week, Helena acted normal. She smiled, made tea, and chatted about small things, the weather, the price of groceries, an old neighbor's birthday. But inside she was planning. Victor then mentioned casually, "I'll be traveling for work next week. Gone for about 7 days." Helena nodded calmly, but her heart leapt. This is my chance. After he left, she opened a drawer and took out an old Christmas card from Lena. The farmhouse address was written in Lena's neat handwriting. Helena whispered, "Forgive me, child. I should have come sooner." The morning Victor left, Helena prepared quietly. She packed a small bag with water, bread, and a flashlight. She checked her old car carefully, filled the tank, and stood still for a moment, gripping the steering wheel. "I'm not the fragile woman he thinks I am," she murmured. She took a deep breath and pulled onto the highway. The journey felt endless, her mind spinning with fear and questions. What if Lena is fine? What if I'm wrong? What if? But deep in her chest a truth pulsed. Something was terribly, terribly wrong. The moment Helena reached the farmhouse, her breath caught. The house wasn't old or damaged. It was stunning, large, clean, and beautifully maintained. "Marjorie was right," she whispered. The sight filled her with dread. She parked far away, walking slowly toward the back of the house with trembling legs. Every step felt heavy, as if the earth itself was warning her to turn back. But she couldn't. She had to know. When she reached the kitchen door, slightly ajar, she paused. "Lena," she whispered again, pushing the door gently. Inside, Helena froze. Lena sat on the kitchen floor, her back against the wall, staring blankly at nothing. She wore a loose dress that hung on her thin frame. Her hair was tangled, her face pale. She looked like someone who had been living without sunlight. When the door creaked, Lena slowly lifted her head. Her eyes were filled with fear so deep that Helena felt her heart crack. "Lena, my dear," Helena whispered. Lena's lips trembled, but no sound came out. Helena dropped to her knees despite the pain. She cupped Lena's hands, shocked by how cold they were. Lena suddenly burst into silent tears, the kind that come from years of unspoken suffering. Helena hugged her tightly, feeling the young woman's fragile body shaking. "I'm here," Helena whispered. "You're not alone anymore." They stayed like that for minutes, maybe longer. When Lena finally pulled back, her voice broke. "Helena, how did you find me?" Helena breathed deeply. "I need to know what happened to you," she said softly. "Tell me everything." Helena explained her conversation with Marjorie, Victor's years of excuses, and her sudden decision to come alone. When she mentioned Victor's name, Lena flinched as if struck. She closed her eyes and whispered, "I've been trying to reach you for years." Helena blinked. "Reach me? How?" Lena's voice shook. "He wouldn't let me. He said if I ever tried to contact you, he would hurt my mother. He said he had ways to ruin her life." Helena felt cold rage spreading through her body. "He threatened your mother," she whispered. Lena nodded painfully. Lena explained that her mother lived alone in another state, surviving on a tiny pension. I couldn't risk anything happening to her, she said. So I obeyed him. Helena felt her stomach twist. How long has this been happening? Lena's voice turned hollow. 5 years. Exactly when I stopped visiting you. She explained how Victor's requests slowly turned into orders, then threats. At first, he said I needed to focus more on the farm. Then he wouldn't let me leave. Then he took my phone. Helena covered her mouth in disbelief. He took your phone? Helena asked. Lena nodded. 3 years ago. Said he needed to repair it. He never gave it back. She explained she had no car, no savings, no way to call anyone for help. The nearest neighbor was miles away. The few times I walked into town, Lena whispered, someone always told him. And when he came back. She stopped, trembling. Did he hurt you? Helena asked gently. Lena shook her head. Not physically. He's too smart for that. But he starved me, isolated me, punished me with silence. He locked me in rooms. Helena felt tears burning her eyes. My God. Lena. But Lena wasn't done. She spoke about Sierra, the young woman Victor brought to the farm. Helena felt her heart drop. He brought her here, she asked. Lena nodded. For almost 3 years. They stay together in the main bedroom. I sleep in the servants' room. Helena clenched her fists. How could he? She whispered. But Lena's voice was flat, empty. He said I was only here to keep the farm running. He said Sierra was his future. Helena felt something inside her shatter. Trust, love, the belief that her son was a good man. He used me, she whispered, her voice trembling. He lied to me to hide all this. Lena nodded slowly. He didn't want you to see me like this. He didn't want anyone to. Helena lifted Lena's chin gently. My dear, listen to me, she said firmly. I'm taking you out of this. Whatever he planned is ending today. Lena's eyes widened with both hope and fear. Helena, if he finds out, Helena squeezed her hand. He won't. Promise. Lena took a shaky breath. There's something else you need to see, she whispered. Documents. Victor keeps them locked in his study. Helena frowned. What kind of documents? Lena hesitated. I don't know everything, but I saw property papers once. And signatures that didn't look like mine, even though they said they were. Helena felt a chill run through her. Where is the key? She asked. Lena pointed toward the main living room. Inside a blue vase. Helena stood slowly, helping Lena up. Show me, she said. Her voice carried a strength she had never felt before. They walked quietly through the house. The beauty of the interior enraged Helena. Victor had described it as falling apart, but it looked like a luxury home. All lies, she muttered. Lena kept her head down, as if afraid the walls themselves were watching. Helena found the blue vase on an elegant coffee table. She reached inside and retrieved a small silver key. Holding it felt like holding the truth. Come, Lena whispered, guiding her toward the study upstairs. Every step felt heavier, as though Helena was walking deeper into a betrayal she never imagined. The study door creaked open. The room was large, polished, and cold. There was a dark wooden desk, shelves filled with untouched books, and a tall metal filing cabinet in the corner. Helena approached it with a lump in her throat. Are you sure Victor is gone for days? She asked. Lena nodded. He always tells me. He wants me prepared. The statement carried painful irony. Helena inserted the key into the first drawer and turned it slowly. The lock clicked. She inhaled deeply, opened the drawer, and felt her heart drop at what she saw inside. The drawer was filled with documents. Contracts, deeds, bank records. Helena picked up the first folder. It showed the farmhouse legally transferred into someone else's name. Eridane. She whispered the name slowly, shaking her head. He gave her the house. Then she opened another folder. More properties. All transferred to Sierra. No, no, he didn't, Helena whispered, rubbing her forehead. She opened the next one, joint bank accounts with Sierra. Investment papers. Money moved quietly from marital accounts to private accounts. He drained everything, Helena said, her voice trembling. Lena stood behind her, arms wrapped around herself. There's more, she said softly. Helena pulled out another document. A divorce draft. The date was 6 months from now. The terms were brutal. Lena would receive nothing. No property. No savings. No support. This says you signed a prenuptial agreement, Helena murmured. Lena shook her head fiercely. I never signed anything. That signature isn't mine. Helena examined it closely. The handwriting was similar but off. Victor must have forged it. My son, Helena whispered in disbelief. He planned to throw you out with nothing. Helena photographed every page with shaking hands. She knew these images were powerful evidence that could destroy Victor's careful lies. Lena, she said softly. He wasn't just cruel. He was preparing to erase you completely. Lena wiped tears from her cheeks. I know. Felt it. Every day I woke up wondering what would happen when he finally didn't need me anymore. Helena closed the drawer quietly. We're leaving now, she said. But Lena stepped back, fear flooding her eyes. Helena, if he finds out I helped you. Helena placed a firm hand on her shoulder. He won't. They went downstairs and sat in the kitchen, the air heavy with everything they'd uncovered. Helena took Lena's trembling hands. Listen to me, she said. You are not staying here another day once I am ready. I will get lawyers. I will go to the police if needed. I will destroy his lies. Lena shook her head. He'll fight back. He always does. Helena leaned closer. Then he will meet someone who fights harder. Lena looked at her, stunned by the fire in Helena's voice. For the first time in years, a small flicker of hope appeared in her eyes, but Helena also knew acting impulsively would be dangerous. Victor was manipulative and clever. If he sensed anything, he would twist it to his advantage. We need a plan, she said calmly. A perfect one. Lena nodded slowly. I trust you, she whispered. Helena squeezed her hands. I promise you this ends soon. She stood and glanced around. I must leave before Victor wonders why he can't reach me. Lena's breath caught. Will you come back? Helena smiled sadly. I will never abandon you again. I'll return with help. Helena hugged Lena tightly before leaving. Stay safe, Helena whispered. Keep the doors locked. Don't let anyone in. Lena nodded, clutching Helena's hand. Please be careful. Helena walked out of the farmhouse with a heavy heart. As she reached her car, she looked back at the beautiful yet haunted property. My son did this, she murmured. The drive back felt even longer than before. Her mind raced with anger, fear, and determination. She had entered that house as a curious mother. She was leaving as a woman ready for war. When Helena arrived home, darkness had settled over the city. She parked the car and walked inside, her legs trembling from the weight of the day. She closed the door behind her and finally allowed herself to break. She slid down the wall, covering her face, sobbing for everything she had discovered. How could he? She whispered. After minutes of tears, she wiped her face and stood up. No more crying, she told herself. Not while Lena is still trapped. She placed her phone on the table and opened the photo gallery. Each image reminded her of Victor's betrayal. She spent hours studying every document. He forged her signature. He transferred assets. She whispered each detail aloud until the truth became sharp and undeniable. My son is capable of destroying lives. The realization cut deep. Helena had raised him with love, taught him kindness. She wondered where she had failed. But she quickly pushed that thought aside. This isn't about me, she reminded herself. This is about saving Lena. She pulled out a notebook and began writing everything she remembered from the farmhouse. She needed every detail for the lawyer she planned to contact. The next morning, Helena barely slept but forced herself to get up early. She sat at the kitchen table drinking tea, her hands still trembling. She rehearsed what she would say to the lawyer. She dreaded the possibility of someone not believing her story. "What if they think I'm exaggerating?" she whispered. But then she remembered Lena's hollow eyes, her thin frame, her fear. "No," Helena said firmly. "Someone must believe the truth." She grabbed her purse, tucked the phone with all the evidence inside, and headed to the legal aid office downtown. The receptionist greeted her gently. "How may we help you, ma'am?" Helena took a deep breath. "I need to speak to someone about domestic abuse, fraud, and illegal confinement." The woman blinked, surprised by the seriousness of the request. "Of course. Please wait here." Helena sat down, tapping her fingers nervously on her purse. A few minutes later, a lawyer named Grant Whitmore approached her. "Mrs. Ward." "Grant. Please come with me." Helena followed him into a quiet office. Grant offered her a seat and asked kindly, "Tell me everything." Helena spoke for nearly an hour, describing Lena's living conditions, the threats, the forged documents, and the property transfers. She showed Grant the photos. His expression grew darker with every image. "This is serious," he said quietly. "Very serious. Your daughter-in-law is in danger." Helena nodded tearfully. "She needs help. I can't leave her there." Grant leaned back. "We can file for emergency protection, start a case for fraud, and gather more evidence. But we need to move carefully. If your son suspects anything, he might retaliate." Helena swallowed hard. "I'm ready." Grant explained the steps they needed to follow. Helena listened carefully, absorbing every detail. "The most important thing," he said, "is keeping Lena safe until we can legally extract her from that property." Helena nodded. "I'll return to the farm," she said. "I'll bring her here when the time is right." Grant looked concerned. "Are you sure you're not putting yourself at risk?" Helena gave a tired smile. "I've been afraid for too long. I'm not afraid anymore." Grant handed her several documents to sign and promised to contact the authorities discreetly. That evening, Helena returned home feeling both heavy and hopeful. She placed the signed papers on the table and stared at them. "It's starting," she whispered. She made herself dinner but barely ate. Her mind was consumed with thoughts of Lena, sitting alone in that big house waiting. Helena picked up her phone to send a message but stopped. No. Victor might check her number if she still has access to anything. Everything had to be perfectly hidden. Everything had to be safe. Helena lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling until dawn. The following day, Grant called with updates. "We have enough evidence to begin," he said. "But we need one more thing, proof of the forged signature. A handwriting expert." Helena agreed immediately. "I'll bring something written by Lena," she said. After the call, Helena drove to the store to buy supplies for her next trip to the farm. Food for Lena, clothing, a prepaid phone, and small toiletries. "She deserves to feel human again," Helena murmured as she packed everything neatly. Her heart ached, but her resolve strengthened. By late afternoon, Helena sat at her kitchen table reviewing her plan. She whispered to herself, "I'll go tomorrow, before Victor returns. I'll check on her, give her what she needs, and prepare her for what's coming." She paused, imagining the fear Lena must feel daily. That poor girl, 5 years trapped. Helena clenched her jaw. Never again. She looked at Victor's childhood photos on the wall, the bright smiles, the innocence. "You changed," she whispered to the image. "And now you must face the consequences." Morning arrived foggy and cold. Helena packed her bag, double-checked the evidence, and locked her apartment door. She whispered a prayer as she walked to the car. "Please protect her and give me strength." The drive felt shorter this time, as if determination pushed the car forward. When she reached the dirt road leading to the farmhouse, her heart raced. Almost there, Lena, she whispered. She parked behind the same group of trees as before and stepped out quietly, carrying the bag of supplies. The house looked calm. Come. Helena approached the back door and knocked softly. Lena. It's me, she whispered. No response. She knocked again. Lena. Still nothing. A chill crawled up her spine. She pushed the door open slowly. The kitchen was empty. Silent. Her breath caught. Lena. She called louder this time. No footsteps. No voice. Panic rose in her chest. She walked deeper into the house, her pulse thundering. Please be here, she whispered desperately. But as she reached the hallway and saw the door to the servants' room wide open, a cold realization struck her. Lena was gone.